it happened when I was 10 years old, and Dad was in town with his milk crowd, and Garth had been out in the barn milking the cows, and we had, in our back porch, we had the separator set up to separate the milk, and Garth came in carrying a couple of buckets of milk, and Mom, did I say this yesterday? About a separator has a thing, a cone-shaped thing with 52 discs on it. They're real thin, and them circling around, there's holes at the cream. I don't know how they work, but Mom had put the separator together, and she hadn't, there's a little nut about 1.5 inches across that fastens on the top, and you have a wrench that you put on it to tighten it real tight, otherwise it can come off. And Mom hadn't tightened it, or Garth hadn't tightened it yet, and he came in and he forgot to tighten it. Mom hadn't tightened it. Garth thought it was tightening and put the separator together, I guess is how it went. And he had a leather jacket on, and he was separating the milk, and Mom just happened to step out into the porch that we used as a room to do that in, and the top had come on, and those discs came whirling through the ground. I remember seeing this before, and Mom had about that many cuts from her hand up to her jugular vein up here, and just bleeding profusely. And I got her on the bed.
Keep going.
Okay.
I had her lay down on the bed on her back, and I just felt desperate. And there was a sack of flour sitting on the counter, and I took it and spread through all of her wounds. I said this before, because then I sent Garth, I told Garth to get on the horse. I knew where Dad was, but it was across the river, and I knew that he couldn't be there in less than an hour. And so I was taking care of Mom, and Garth got on the horse and came and brought Dad. And I remember they got Mom in the car and got her. I stayed with the kids. I couldn't go in to see what they did with her, but the doctor said to be sure and tell your daughter that she saved your mother's life. That's the only thing she could have done to stop that bleeding.
That's a good story.
He says it sure was a mess cleaning up. I just sprinkled them down the wounds, you know.
Yeah, that's a good idea.